Hey everyone, how's it going? Sitting low here, just continuing the air ride install on my 72 C10. And if you've been following along with the build, you know that we've got the front pretty much done. And now we are moving on to the back of the truck, which the back of the truck is fairly simple compared to the front. Not a lot of fabrication work involved, although I am going to notch my frame rail just to give it a little more clearance up there. And just to make the back tire kind of tuck a little more. As you can see, I've already got the springs already removed, and I removed the shock absorbers. Just kind of test fitting everything, seeing what needs to be done as far as, you know, if anything needs to be moved. I'm going to have to redo my exhaust. That's a given. Might have to rerun that brake line there, just because A, it looks like shit, and B, I don't want anything to, you know, rub or anything like that as it's going up and down. But for the most part, you know, the rear consists of like removing the springs, and then you've got, this is the bag, this is the upper mount bolts right to where the existing spring used to sit, and you also got this base plate here. Bag sits right on top of this base plate. Okay, so what you do, pretty much where your spring used to sit, set the base plate there. Bag in the cup, and then you pretty much just bolt that sucker into place. So not too much fab work involved in the rear other than notching the frame. So what I'm going to have to do that is I'm going to have to cut off that bump stop there. If you can see that bump stop, that's where the factory bump stop used to be. And I don't know if I'm going to do like a super C-notch or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to cut. My goal is to not cut into the bed of this truck. So I think I'm just going to do a simple half arch like tube notch or something and just call it good. So yeah, pretty much follow me along as we do the rear now. Okay, you guys, so as of now, I pretty much just got the rear bags and the brackets bolted into place. I have not notched the frame yet, but just to kind of give you guys an idea, that's about how low it sits without the frame notch, and there's still, you know, a little bit of room left in the bags under here, so I can get a little more drop out of it once I notch the frame. But the front is freaking hammered, and as I suspected, my exhaust header is on the ground. So turns out I'm gonna have to redo my exhaust as well. So I don't want to be dragging my exhaust headers around, but I got everything just kind of half-ass plumbed with Schrader valves, you know, similar to just like how you'd fill a tire up, just for now. Just so I could actually start it up and move it around, lift it up and down. Just because I need to take some time and clean out my garage, man. This garage is getting destroyed just working on shit and leaving tools and everything everywhere. But, you know, so I'm just going to take 5-10 minutes to clean up around here. And then next step, I guess, would be to start notching it. So in order to do that, like I said, I don't know. I know I can do it without removing the bed, and that's what it may come to, because, you know, I don't have a lot of people that can just come over and help me pull this bed off this truck. So in the meantime, just kind of cleaning up everything and figuring out what I want to do as far as the frame notch goes. I would really like to pull the bed off of it, but, you know, I believe I can get it notched without removing the bed. But even after I notch it, I would like to, you know, box some portions of the back side of the frame rail, because it's a C-channel frame. I'd like to notch it and box it around at least the notch area and where it curves up. So, but other than that, you guys, you know, the rear was easy. You know, the rear was just a matter of bolting in cups and bags. And the truck has 2-inch drop blocks in the rear, and right now, when the bags are fully deflated, the axle tube is resting on the frame rail, so it is in desperate need of a notch. So that'll be our next step. But as far as the rear goes, I mean, it doesn't get much easier than just, you know, pulling the hardest part about doing the rear was removing the old springs and stuff. Other than that, it was just a matter of bolting in the cups and the bags. So, you know, the rear is not too much. So other than the frame notch, this is how we're sitting now. So I believe once I get the frame notch, you know, like I said, I'll probably notch it 2 inches, 2¼ inches, just to kind of bring the back down a little bit more. So stick around for that, and we'll be notching some frames. I love the way it's sitting right now, though. When you look at it through the front, it just looks like it's smiling. It's happy. It's happy. So let's keep going, shall we? So I had a couple of friends stop by this afternoon and actually help me lift the bed off. So now that I have all this room to play with, it's time to start notching the rear of the frame. First order of business, grinding these bump stop rivets out and getting these old factory bump stops the hell out of here. And I'm going to get all these bags and stuff removed because I just had them just in place of the springs temporarily, just so I could air them up via this T-fitting and this Schrader valve here, just so I could move the truck around. I didn't plumb any of the valves yet other than just running the lines and fittings to the bag. So once I get everything completed, painted, tanks, I haven't even ordered my valves or anything yet. I haven't ordered a tank. I'm still undecided. Do I want manual valves? Do I want electric valves? You know, I'm still up in the air. That one might actually boil down to a freaking coin toss. So, but anyway, I definitely got to notch the frame out, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. So stick around and I'll show you how I end up doing this. I don't know if I'm going to pipe notch it or just do my own C-notch with some 1/4 inch plate. Undecided, so stick around, we'll figure it out. Okay, you guys, so what I'm doing now is I'm in the process of notching my frame, and as you can probably guess, I'm doing just a traditional, you know, pipe notch, and I'm going to box and reinforce it on the front side, the back side, the top side, the underside, and pretty much every side you can think of. I've got the driver's side pretty much done, and you can see what's kind of going on here. It's not done yet, but I at least got the pipe notch welded in. I still got to make my reinforcement plates for the, you know, top, the back, and all that good stuff. But just wanted to show you guys pretty much the process of how I'm going about notching this frame out. So it'll once it's all finalized, I'm going to trim all this excess shit off here. You know, I suppose I could have did that, you know, before I welded it in, but you know, screw it. Once it's like all attached and everything, I think it'll be easier for me to just shape it the way it needs to go, you know, go and flow with the frame. So yeah, stick around. Gonna get this side fitted in and then burnt in. I just got to come in here and grind a little more, and make it, you know, like I said in the previous videos, you can always go out and nibble a little more away rather than, you know, if you take too much out the first time, you're kind of screwed. So it's good to just take a little at a time, check and see if it lines up. If it doesn't line up, you can always take a little bit more until it lines up, and you know, just take small little nibbles at a time, because if you take too much, you can't really put it back. I mean, you can, but you know, it's just more bullshit and extra work, and probably won't be as strong because you'll have to fill a bunch of gaps and stuff. But anyway, moving on. Alright, you guys, so I got the notch pretty much burned in, at least the front side, and then I got along the bottom here. And I just went ahead and trimmed all of this off just to make it look a little nicer. Did the same thing on the other side here. And it looks pretty nice. So basically all I still have left to do is I gotta pretty much weld everything from the back, and I'm gonna go ahead and this exhaust system here, pretty much from the muffler's back, I'm gonna remove it just so I could have a little more room to play with, because I still gotta, like I said, I gotta weld the notch around from the back. Then I gotta make some box plates to box the back side of the frame rail and a couple other small things. So I'll go ahead and start pulling this exhaust off. Alright, so I got the exhaust pulled off, and look at how much more room I got. without having to worry about all them pipes in the way. I should be able to come in here, weld all that up, make some nice box plates to fill in the back of the frame, and yeah, all is good. So just gonna go ahead and working on this thing here, and I'll show you what I come up with next. Okay, so I just finished welding up the back sides of the tube notch. See, I hit it from the back, went up and around. Kind of tough to get to once you get up in that arch, but hey, turned out okay. All the way around, all the way down. So now it's time to go ahead and make some filler plates for the back side of that frame rail so we can box it in. So let's go ahead and start making those, I guess. Alright, just to give you guys an idea of how I'm boxing these inside frame rails. Just took a pizza box, made some nice templates that fit nice and perfect right where they need to go. You can see passenger side, driver side. Just gotta put them on here, trace them out, cut them out, and then in theory they should pretty much drop right in where they need to be. As you can see, this frame rail's kind of bent a little bit. That's just how they are. So as I'm welding it, I'm going to have to, you know, kind of form it to the curve of the frame rail, but that's no big deal. But yeah, just to pretty much give you an idea of how I'm making the templates, or how I'm making the filler plates. Template, 1/8 inch plate steel, and just going to go ahead and start cutting them out. So I'll be back. Alright y'all, so I finally got these cut out, and I just got one of them half-ass clamped into place right now just to kind of test fit everything and see what else I need to do. Like, I need to come in here and trim up a little higher and just kind of shape this a little better, but you kind of see what I'm doing here. Once this piece is all fit and fitting nicely, I'm going to go ahead and just burn it all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom, all the way across the bottom, and all the way over the hump. That way I'll kind of half-ass box the frame over that section of frame we took out, you know, just to stiffen it up a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going, keep fitting the other piece, and you know, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to weld these suckers today because I have like literally no freaking gas left, and it's Saturday afternoon, all the places are closed. So I might have to wait till Monday to get these welded up, but no biggie. You know, I've been pretty patient with this thing so far. I'm trying not to rush it. You know, my initial plan was just to, you know, tag it and bag it and call it good, but you know, once I started to do the front and seeing how much extra work was involved, I figured why not just take my time and try to do everything right. So yeah, you get the idea of what's going on here. I just got to keep, you know, fitting everything nice, and then once everything's all welded up, I'll be able to come in here and trim all this bullshit off too. So yeah, it's coming along, so stick around. So at this point in the game, I got the back of the frame rail's boxed in, both sides, trimmed the notch down just to shape it a little more, make it look a little nicer. And I got it off the jack stands right now. It's just being held up by the center diff, and you know, granted, I'm only like 200 pounds. You know, this thing feels pretty darn rigid the way it is. But what I'm actually in the process of doing now is similar to the box plates, making a template, and I've already got one of them cut out. Just a 1/4 inch plate. What I'm going to do with these is take them on over here, stick this sucker to the top of the frame rail like so, and then when I get my argon bottle filled Monday, go ahead and get these welded in just to, you know, thicken up the frame a little bit more. And I think that ought to do it for the rear frame notch. It should be more than strong enough because, like I said, you know, I don't plan on towing a trailer, doing it, putting anything super heavy in the back. It's just going to be a little cruiser truck. So, you know, I think honestly I could get away with it the way it is now, but this will just kind of be like more of a little peace of mind thing, just add a little more rigidity to it. So yeah, stick around for that. But it's coming along. I guess you could say the back is officially notched. The only thing I really got left to do is continue making those, I guess, top straps or whatever you want to call them. I got to do something about this panhard bar. I'm not 100% sure if I'm just gonna cut cut and sleeve over this one just to make it the length I need it, or if I'm going to relocate it down here to this trailing arm, which the more I think about it, the more I'm inclined to do it. That way it'll help correct some of that, you know, some of the geometry, and it'll help with the axle, you know, wanting to shift from side to side through its motion of travel. The longer the bar, the lesser the radial arc that it produces as it's, you know, moving. So longer bar would definitely be beneficial in this case. So, but yeah, that's already getting a little too far ahead. In the meantime, got to finish cutting out this other strap for the other side of the frame rail, and then tomorrow get my gas bottle filled back there, because that sucker is pretty much bone freaking dry. It actually started running out right as I was finishing up the notch right there, so got to touch that up a little bit, but ain't no big deal. But yeah, we're moving along. Pretty soon it'll be time to paint everything and put the bags in, and shit, I still got to get valves and I still got to get my tanks and stuff, so we got a little bit of work ahead of us. But as far as the notch is concerned, the notch is done. Just kind of strengthening it up a little more, so keep on keeping on. So I finally got these cut out and shaped the way I wanted them, and over here I got this one already kind of clamped into place, just to give you guys an idea and show you what these are going to be doing. All these are going to do is just kind of straddle the top of the frame rail here, and then once I weld all the way around the perimeter, it's just to pretty much thicken up this upper portion of the frame rail here. So factory frame rail is about an 1/8 inch thick, another 1/4 inch, you know, strap, gusset, whatever you want to call it. You know, that should thicken it up and be more than strong enough for what I'm trying to do with it. So once I get me bottle filled over the L, it'll be time to burn those in, and then we can move along from there. Okay guys, so Monday I went and got my bottle filled, got these back straps burned into place. Thing is rock solid now. And the only other thing I had to do was the panhard, come up with some kind of panhard bar. So what I done was, initially I cut my factory one in half with the thoughts of just finding some tubing to sleeve over it with and just weld it, you know, weld it, extend it that way. But my local steel supplier, all the tubing they had was either too big or way too small, so I couldn't do anything about that. So today I went and scoured some junkyards, and I come up with this hoo-ha here. And what this actually is it's a lower rear lateral trailing arm off like a newer Grand Prix, like a GXP, like, you know, that year body style. And the only thing I had to do as far as, you know, free up this sleeve here, but the only thing I had to do was these bushing sleeves here are like 12 millimeter. So what I had to do is take a 5/8 drill bit and just drill these sleeves out to fit my 5/8 bolts. So yeah, $5 for adjustable panhard bar. You know, when you're broke like me, you gotta improvise. So yeah, so let's get this thing put in. Okay guys, so I got the panhard bar bolted into place, and now it's time to get this sucker off the jack stands and just watch it go up and down. As far as the adjusting of the panhard bar, that I'm pretty much gonna wait till I got it just temporarily set right now. I got the axle centered pretty much, but I really got to get the bed on and make sure it doesn't hit any wheel wells or any stuff like that as it's going up and down. So I'll do the final adjustment once the bed's back on it. So yeah, let's pull it off and see what it does. Okay guys, so I got the panhard bar bolted in, got the bags in, got the wheels and tires on it, got the bags like half-ass plumbed with my temporary Schrader valve setup, and I took it off the jack stand. So now I guess it's time for the moment of truth. Let's see how low this sucker will actually go in the rear now that I got it off the stands. You know, I have a general idea of how low it's going to go from just jacking the axle up and down, but I've never had it off the stands and laid it out yet, so this would be a first for both of us, or for all of us, I should say. there it is, fully deflated, and a hell of a lot lower than it was. So all in all, I'd say it turned out pretty well. The axle is still not even buried all the way up in the tube notch. It's utilizing the bump stops that are built into the bags. I've already stood on the frame and bounced on it, and this thing's rock solid. It ain't going nowhere. And yeah, man, other than a couple little odds and ends like redoing the brake lines, pinning up my exhaust, put my exhaust back on, and I still gotta, you know, make a mount for my tanks, because I still need to get tanks, I still need to get valves, and yeah, just little shit like that. But as far as, you know, fabrication for the rear notch and the panhard bar and excuse me, all that other junk, you know, it's pretty much good to go. So it's gonna lay pretty freaking good. And like I said, it's not even bottomed out in the tube notch, so in theory, if I wanted to go a little bit lower, you know, I got about a, you know, easy inch right there. So, you know, if I was as so inclined, I could probably put some just stack another inch block on there, and then bam, it'd be buried up in there. So, but I'm just gonna roll with it now and see what it does, because, you know, it's kind of hard to tell without the bed on it. So yeah, once I get everything plumbed, and man, we're getting close now that I think about it, but once I get everything plumbed, and, you know, I'm gonna paint the frame. I gotta attack this whole thing with a wire wheel or a fucking sandblaster or whatever I can get my hands on, because I can't roll like that. You see, now I repainted the front, made it look really nice. And yeah, just little shit, you know, buttoning up the little shit now. All the hard work on the rear is done. Now it's just a matter of plumbing it, and, you know, all that sort of groovy stuff, dressing it up, making it look pretty. So I'd say we're off to a pretty good start on the rear. So let's air it up again. Why not? It goes up plenty high too. Now, it doesn't have shocks on the back either. That's one thing I forgot to mention. I still need to measure and come up with a set of shocks for the rear that are going to work. And yep. So there it is. Up and down, sitting on the bags, notched. Moving along, it will probably be pretty much just painting it and cleaning everything up. The brake, I've already mentioned all of this like 3 times, but you get the idea. Moving along.